And how did I hurt you?
You stabbed me.
In the courtroom, it is important to show respect for the judge, the jury, and the other participants in the legal process. But some defendants show a complete disregard for the law and the judicial system. These defendants make rude and disrespectful comments, disrupt the proceedings, and even threaten violence. In this video, we'll be taking a look at some of the most disrespectful defendants in the court. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 10. Bryce Rhodes. This is Bryce Rhodes, who is currently on trial in Louisville, Kentucky, facing 3 counts of murder, which has deeply affected the local community. His alleged killing spree began with the mistaken shooting of an innocent man, followed by the tragic murders of 2 teenage brothers who had witnessed the initial incident. During interviews, Rhodes displayed a troubling lack of remorse, minimizing the gravity of his actions and showing indifference towards his relationship with the slain teenagers, despite the immense pain inflicted upon their families. Inside the courtroom, Rhodes has exhibited disrespectful behavior.
Are you some type of racist? Are you got some type of sexual relationship going on? Which one is it?
Or are you just wrong in everything that you've made a motion for?
Are you a secret Ku Klux Klan member?
No, sir.
His disregard for the victims' families was evident as he blew kisses and made offensive gestures towards them. Number 9. Bass Webb. Now this is Bass Webb, the defendant in Lexington, Kentucky, who finds himself facing 2 counts of attempted murder. The gripping security footage reveals his alarming act of trying to run over 2 jail employees whom he had encountered during his recent stint behind bars. However, Webb's disruptive behavior didn't stop there. During his first court appearance, a shocking event unfolded, leaving the courtroom in utter disbelief. Webb, in a brazen display of contempt, spat at the judge. Despite the vile act, the judge retained her composure, promptly wiping off the spittle, and swiftly ejected him from the courtroom. As the trial progressed, Webb's sinister past came to light. While serving time, he faced charges for the murder of 2 different girlfriends. The first murder resulted in a conviction, and now he stands trial for the second. Unsurprisingly, the jury unanimously found him guilty, and the judge handed down a sentence of life imprisonment. Number 8. Alan McCarty. Alan McCarty faces charges for making death threats towards a judge involved in a child custody case. The judge's ruling resulted in McCarty losing custody of his children, but his discourteous behavior persisted during subsequent court appearances. McCarty's actions showcased his lack of respect as he demanded someone else care for his kids while continuously interrupting the proceedings.
No, I was not sworn in. I've never been sworn in this court. Bring the camera back, he's making this up. Wanna take my kids from me and act like that?
As a consequence of his actions, McCarty received a 20-year prison sentence. Number 7. Tobias Roman. This is Tobias Roman, the impolite defendant in Bakersfield, California, where he faces his arraignment. He stands accused of multiple offenses, including attempted robbery, threatening others with fear, and exhibiting a dangerous weapon. The victim, in this case, is a female employee who claims Tobias relentlessly stalked her at a local shopping mall. Tobias's disrespectfulness becomes apparent as the proceedings commence. When asked to state his true identity, he responds with a derisive giggle and a simple name.
Tobias, my first name, that's it. Giggles or Tobias, that's it. Don't call me nothing else.
Hey, Mr. Roman, you need to be quiet.
Yeah, you need to be quiet.
Judge Charles Bremer issues a final warning, threatening to remove Tobias from the courtroom if the disruptions persist. Just as Tobias is being led away, he manages to utter a final disrespectful remark aimed at the judge. The judge, unwavering, records Tobias's threatening statement and vows to take appropriate action involving law enforcement.
I'd like to note for the record, Mr. Roman's statement on the record that he will murder me if he sees me, and I'm going to request law enforcement to take the appropriate action.
Number 6. Ronnie O'Neill. Ronnie O'Neill is a disrespectful defendant from Riverview, Florida, who stands accused of a double murder. He fatally shot his girlfriend, Kenyatta Barron, before turning his brutality towards his own 9-year-old daughter, mercilessly attacking her with a hatchet. Tragically, he didn't spare their 8-year-old son, stabbing him as well. Consumed by malice, O'Neill poured gasoline throughout their home and set it ablaze. Though apprehended while attempting to escape, his son suffered severe burns and injuries. Unbelievably, O'Neill chose to represent himself in court, subjecting his traumatized son to cross-examination.
Did I hurt you that night of this incident?
Yes,
I did. And how did I hurt you?
he stabbed me.
The judge, profoundly shaken, declared this the worst case she had ever encountered.
This is the worst case I've ever seen.
Unapologetic, O'Neill showed no remorse for his actions and received 3 life sentences plus 90 years without parole. In a small glimmer of hope, the detective who cared for O'Neill's son on that tragic night stepped forward to provide him with a loving home, ensuring a brighter future amid the aftermath of this despicable act. Number 5. Randall Moore. This Randall Moore is facing 3 life sentences for crimes against his former wife, Teresa Lynch. Lynch had left her husband and filed a protective order against him, but Moore continued to harass her. He eventually kidnapped her and killed her, and he also shot and wounded a police officer who responded to the scene. In a phone call with a 911 dispatcher, Moore claimed that he had no intention of hurting anyone.
All I wanted was my son. I just wanted to see my 7-month-old baby. That's all I cared about.
You just wanted to see your son?
Yep.
He showed no remorse for his crimes.
I'll tell you point blank, I have not 1 ounce of remorse for Teresa Ann's death.
And even refused to apologize to Lynch's family.
What you did to my daughter, Teresa Ann Marie Lynch, was evil, hateful, and despicable. You are now dead and rotting and repulsive to me.
Read the journal she wrote. She hated you.
Thank you, Judge.
She hated you.
The jury found Moore guilty of murder, kidnapping, sexual abuse, and attempted murder. He was sentenced to 3 life sentences plus 25 years. Number 4. Keith Ferguson. This is Keith Ferguson, who was sentenced to life in prison without parole for the murders of his wife and father-in-law. Ferguson had been having marital problems with his wife, Tiffany, and had threatened to kill her on several occasions. On the day of the murders, he went to their home and shot her multiple times in front of their 4 children. He then took the children to their grandparents' home, where he shot and killed Tiffany's father. After a 7-hour standoff, he surrendered to police. Ferguson's lawyers argued that he was not guilty by reason of insanity, but the jury rejected that argument and found him guilty on all counts. When the judge asked him about certain details of the crime, he became angry.
You understand me? I'm not doing this for these stupid cameras and these inbreds.
And did you intend to kill him?
Oh yeah.
And did you think about whether or not you wanted to kill him and make a deliberate choice to do so?
No way. Put half a magazine in that. Okay, well, I'm not getting into any detail of what happened.
If you want to be guilty, you have to say what you did.
I'm not saying all right? Because of the respect and the safety of my children, I'm not saying nothing. Because they're going to see this. They don't need
In
to hear
sentencing
that.
Ferguson, the judge said that he was a danger to society and that he must never be allowed to inflict his violence on anyone else.
I'll see y'all in hell.
Number 3. Michael Swanson. This is Michael Swanson, who at the age of 17 committed a series of horrifying acts in Iowa. He tragically ended the lives of 2 innocent gas station attendants within a brief time frame. Swanson exhibited no signs of remorse when questioned about his actions.
I want to know if you're even sorry. Are you sorry for what you did? My mom was not only completely 100% innocent, but she was also a defenseless woman when you came in with that gun.
He openly admitted to shooting both victims in the face.
Intentionally, deliberately, and with premeditation, shot the clerk, causing her to die. I did this with a specific intent to kill her.
During his trial and victim impact statement, he continued to laugh, showing no remorse.
Cold-blooded murder, young man. And your counsel wants us to believe that you lacked the capacity, that you were insane.
Following due legal process, Swanson was sentenced to life imprisonment for charges of first-degree murder and burglary.
Prison for the rest of your life.
Number 2. Christian Jeremy. This is the case of Christian Jeremy, a disrespectful defendant whose actions have caused immense harm and pain to numerous individuals. Chaos erupted in the courtroom during Christian's sentencing hearing. In a shocking outburst, Christian approached one of his surviving victims, spewing vile words filled with regret for not taking her life. Law enforcement swiftly intervened, escorting Christian out of the courtroom as he callously dismissed the value of human life. He faced charges for savage attacks on 2 innocent passengers and an attempted assault on a third, along with other offenses against additional victims, awaiting his sentence. Due to the gravity of the situation and the need for victims and their families to express their anguish, the sentencing was adjourned. This allowed them to convey their statements before the judge pronounced Christian's prison term.
I don't ever want to have to look another family in the eye and miss a person that I never even got the chance to meet.
And to Mr. Jeremy Christian, your mom should have swallowed you. You are a waste of breath. And when you die and go to hell, I hope you rot.
Number 1. Michael Gaines. Michael Gaines, a disrespectful defendant, caused chaos in a Kansas courtroom. He was convicted of spitting on 2 deputies and faced sentencing before Judge Rebecca Pilshaw. However, instead of showing remorse, Gaines launched into a profanity-laden outburst directed at the judge and Assistant District Attorney, Kevin O'Connor.
I appreciate Mr. Gaines making my point.
You punk.
Very well received.
Maggot mother.
Despite the judge's leniency in allowing him to speak, Gaines displayed a complete disregard for decorum. Judge Pilshaw sentenced him to 13 years in prison. As Gaines was escorted out, he continued his offensive behavior, hurling insults at the judge and prosecutor.
He's a maggot.
Yeah, you're a tough guy.
He's a maggot, punk. You should have died. The baby. Maggot.
Anytime, Mr. Gaines.
Shut up, punk. The maggot should have died. The baby still on.
His lack of respect and contemptuous behavior throughout the proceedings only served to further highlight his disdain for authority and disregard for societal norms. Gaines's conviction stemmed from the deplorable act of spitting on 2 sheriff's deputies while he was incarcerated at the Sedgwick County Jail. So thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.